Hi there. In this lecture, I'm going to discuss how we will conduct course readings in our class. Discussions and course readings will be conducted on a website called Perusall. Perusall is a new and very useful tool for helping you understand the reading in a deeper and more compelling way, as you will engage in discussions by commenting on specific passages in the text. To get started, you'll sign up for Perusall. I have sent you the sign up codes in the D2L newsfeed and in an email. And once you get signed up, you'll go to this Get Started page and take a moment to read this, as it will sort of explain some of the basic ideas that you are trying to accomplish by engaging in Perusall reading. Especially note the bullet list below, where you can click on a link where it says see some examples. I've put a little yellow box around this link. This is a nice way to see how people comment on a text. Look at the way that they comment. Think about how useful the comment will be to other people reading the document, and find different ways you can engage in commenting on a document. Perusall is a very sophisticated software that allows me to analyze many different parts of your reading experience and helps me evaluate how well you understand the material and answer questions directly, not just to you, but to anyone else who can read the document. Perusall signs you up for each reading with a subset of the class, so you may not see all of the students reading the same document at the same time. Maybe about half of you or a third of you will be reading a particular document. I will be able to see all the comments attached to all the documents, and I will be able to evaluate them individually and also see Perusall recommendations for your grades and your reading score. So once you open up a reading assignment, you'll see it's a PDF, and you'll notice at the very top there's two possible ways you can add a link to the reading. You notice at the yellow box there's two buttons there, an A, which is when you're selecting text, and then there's a little picture icon. You can use that if you're selecting and wish to comment on an image or a graph or chart or map, any graphic elements in the page. So once you select a piece of text, make sure that the A is marked there, and then you can begin to comment. A dialog box will appear, and there you can type on the far right there. You can start to type your message. Now, if your message is a question, just by adding a question mark at the end of your comment, Perusall will flag this as a special kind of comment, so that people reading it, and I will see that there are questions that need to be answered, and I can go through and review those questions and answer them, or other students can also review and answer them as well. Now, the interesting thing about Perusall is if you ask a question and someone comes along and answers that question, you will be sent an email that will alert you to the fact that your question has been answered. Please be diligent to go back and review the kinds of comments that people have made on your question. You can upvote them, you can say that they were helpful, and again, this is a way to reward and thank the people who are taking the time to answer your question. The way you can engage with Perusall reading is a a very extraordinary ability to kind of dialogue with fellow students and ask them questions and comment about things that you seem pertinent and meaningful, that seem especially relevant to other parts of the class or other readings that we were doing. Another important feature that Perusall allows you to do is to make personal notes. You see at the very lower part of the right hand column an icon which is a pen. You can use this to select and make comments on passages just for your own edification. If you have something you think that is important that you would like to remember for a paper or an exam, this is a good place to keep your own personal notes. You can download these, or you can share them with other people if you so desire. See the note icon there. So, to make a note, and to recap, you select the text, write a couple of sentences, comment on it, paraphrase what you think the author is trying to say. It's important that you don't just say, wow, that's interesting. That's not particularly helpful. We're not sure exactly what you think is interesting or why it is interesting. Be full in your answer. It doesn't need to be very long, but it should be informative. It should demonstrate both that you understand what you're reading and that you have some insight or some question about what you're reading. Okay? Making a comment or asking a question or answering a question all count toward your 5 minimum comments for each reading. So, when you make a comment, be sure to not just say or ask something in a direct way. Be sure to put a context and put a paraphrase into your comments. Once you've got your comments clarified and your comments done, be sure to remember to press return or enter so your comments are saved. If you don't press return or enter after you've written your comments, they will not be recorded so other people can see them. Another very valuable tool that Perusall offers is that you can comment on movies. I will be posting a few short movies for you to watch, and it's a useful tool to go in and start to also comment on what you're seeing. So this is a chance for you, when you see a moment in a video that you want to comment on, you just click the button up there. The movie will stop. You can type just as you would on a document, and you'll notice at the bottom a small dot will appear where your comment appears. You can also see points where other students have left comments at different times in the movie, and by clicking on their dot or their comment spot, you'll immediately go to it and you'll be able to see their comments on different parts of the movie. So that's my overview of Perusall, and I want to impress upon you why I think it is so important that we take the time to read effectively. Reading changes the way you think. It deepens your understanding, not just of this particular course, but it will promote a kind of thoughtful concentration that will make every part of this class more rewarding and more beneficial to you. When you take the time to read, you develop a kind of clarity and precision in your thinking that you cannot get from just listening to a lecture. Many people mishear and misunderstand what is said in a lecture, and so it's very important that you follow up and make sure that you clearly understand what you're reading. I also want to point out that many times people will try to Google or find information on their own outside of the lectures and course materials. And that can lead you into some inaccurate and misleading information. It's only when you fully understand the reading and take the time to listen carefully to the lectures that you can trust that you are on the right path here. It's okay to augment your understanding with other online materials and sources. In many cases, that will be necessary. But always be sure to check your facts and make sure that you're on the right track. So, my recommendations to you on how to be an effective reader. Make a reading plan. Set aside time to read. Make sure it's not at the end of the day when you're tired and when you're lying in bed and you feel sleepy. Sit upright at a desk and try not to multitask. Keep yourself focused on just the activity of reading. Turn off your phone, put it out of reach, turn off other apps, turn down your emails, whatever it is that might be interrupting your concentration, and just focus on the reading. You'll find it much more effective and much more meaningful if you take the time to do that. Furthermore, the dialogue that you develop in Perusall is a wonderful way to enjoy the class and deepen your understanding. I have seen some just fabulous comments by students, and I just really enjoy reading the way in which people help each other through the class. It's a really optimal way of helping others. So be sure that you frame your comments and thoughts in the most positive way possible so that everyone can have a valuable learning experience. Furthermore, I would like to recommend that reading is a skill that is not something you just do because you have to do it. It can be pleasurable, but only if you make yourself a kind of avid reader who enjoys reading for pleasure, so that you don't just do it when you have something you urgently need to do. But you'll find that if you pick up a book that you enjoy on any subject, fiction or nonfiction, it will help you learn to appreciate reading more, and you'll get more out of reading when you need to really focus seriously at it. So I will recommend many books in this class. I will not require them as reading, but I do hope you will take the opportunity to take me up on my recommendations. Or if there are subjects that you're interested in, you want my advice on books to read, I'll be happy to give you my suggestions. All right, let's get on to a great semester.